looking at combining portions of vectors and still really looking at ratios and roots here. Here's a question. So let A be equal to A. So that's given to you already in the diagram. And BC is equal to B. And then you're also given some ratios here. So X is the midpoint of AB. And Y is the midpoint, is a point on BC such that BY to YC is 1 to 3. And P is a point on AC such that AP to PC is 2 to 1. So the ratios are actually very simple here. So you can see X is a midpoint, so that means along here we split it into 2, so that means 1 out of 2, 1 half and 1 half. Y is the point on BC such that BY to YC is 1 to 3, so that means that this is a quarter and this is 3/4. So 1 over 4 and 3 over 4. And then the last bit here, APPC is 2 to 1, so that means that's that's going to be 2/3 and 1/3. That's the first thing you always do, is you label the ratios. Now find AX. Well, we want to go from A to X. Well, that's just going to be half of A. Can you guys now have a go at question 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pause the video now and then come back? Okay, going through the answers here. So I want to go from A to Y. So that means I go all the way along A and then 1/4 of the way along B. So it's going to be just A plus 1/4 B. Question 3, CY. So I'm going from C to Y. Well, that's going to be -3/4 of the way along B. So -3/4 of B. AC, now I can just go straight along here. Unfortunately, I haven't been given a letter that I can use. There's no vector given there, so I have to go the long way, which is A plus B. That also tells me that this root here, which I'll actually go right over, this root here is going to be A plus B. So AC is just A plus B. And then we have AP. So this time, now, because we know that this whole root is A plus B, and AP is just going to be 2/3 of the way along, well, that means I'm going to go 2/3 of the root A plus B, and then you expand the brackets to get 2/3 A plus 2/3 B. And that is your answer. Now we're going to combine this with slightly trickier question. Given that M is the midpoint of BC, determine AM. So we're going to go from A to M. Okay, pause the video. Okay, show me your diaries, whatever. You want to show me what color is it? Yeah, okay, great. So let's have a look. We want to go from A to M. So there's 2 possible routes. You can either go this way or you can go this way. Either way will get you the same answer. I've decided that I'm going to go this way. So I know that. Now look how I write my working out. AM is equal to, well, I'm telling the examiner I start from A and I go to B. And then I go from B to M. Now I know that AB is equal to 6A. Now BM, we have to simplify because we haven't been given a fraction there. Or a ratio. Well, we have been given a ratio. There's a midpoint, so it's going to be half. But we haven't been given a letter. So we know that BM is going to be half of the way along BC. And I know that BC, well, how I'm going to work out what BC is? Well, BC, I have to go this way. So BC is the same as, I'll work out BC up here. Now you guys are going to need to do it on the side of your book somewhere as well. So BC is going to be -6A plus 4B. So then I can now replace this BC with -6A plus 4B. So this becomes 6A plus half brackets -6A plus 4B. And then just writing this up here as you have 6A, simplifying it, so 6A plus, so take away 3a plus 2b. And then that simplifies to 3a plus 2b. That worked out, it's this one, you are right. Okay, now again, make a really detailed, take some time to really process how I've worked this out and how I've shown my working out, because you guys are going to need to be able to do this for this topic. Okay, so typical simple vectors exam questions might look like this. So they come in two parts. The first part, you kind of have a very easy vector to work out. And then the second part is a harder vector that uses a fraction of the first vector. So here's the diagram. And you'll notice there's a part A and there's a part B. So let's take a moment to read it. So PQRS is a parallelogram. So automatically, you know, if you remember back to the hexagon that we did, if that's A, which you're told it is, well, then that must also be A. Because it's a parallelogram, we can't assume otherwise. And then you're told this is B, so that must mean that that's also B. N is a point on SQ, so we can see N is a point on SQ such that Sn to NQ is 3 to 2. So first thing you do is you immediately write the ratio or fraction in the diagram. So 3 to 2 means it's out of 5 parts. So it's 3 over 2, that's 3 over 5, and 2 over 5. And the direction, in this case, we don't need to worry about it yet. So you also told PQ and PS, but I've already spotted that from the diagram. Now write down in terms of A and B the expression for SQ. So you want to go from S to Q. Now, obviously, we can't down because the vector divided, so we're going to go this way, which means negative B. So we can do part B is express NR in terms of A and B. So we will now want to figure out how can we write NR in terms of A and B. Well, we can say that to go from N to R, you're going to have to go from N to Q and then from Q to R. Another way we could do it is to go that way, but I'm not going to do it that way. That's just a different way to do it, and I think it will confuse you otherwise. So we can say NQ. Well, how can we work out what NQ is? Well, we need to use what we know already from the first question. We know that we found SQ as a root, and that NQ is just a fraction, in this case 2/5 of SQ. So we're going to use that. So we can start off by writing NR, because that's what we're trying to find, is equal to, well, we're going to go from N to Q, and then we're going to go from Q to R. Now NQ, we can work out here. So I have the working out here, but I just want to show you just this small jump, otherwise it's going to be too much of a big jump. So NQ is 2/5 of SQ. So look at how I've written it out here. So NR is equal to 2/5 of SQ plus B, because I know that QR is just B. Then I can say that SQ, I can replace SQ here with negative B plus A, because I've just, well, we've worked it out in part 1. So that just comes down. And then it's just a really simple case of expanding and simplifying brackets. So I'm just going to clear this up just so it's a bit clearer for you when you're looking at it. There's the working out for this question. Pause the video if you need to review this a bit more, and then I'll move on. I'm going to move on to the next example. Okay, so an exam question. OAB is a triangle. OA is equal to A, so that's given to us, and OB is equal to B. Find AB in terms of A and B. Well, I want to go from A to B. Now, obviously, I can't go straight up because there's no vector given, so I'm going to go negative A plus B. Good. Now, you must write out your working out like it is on here. You have to show the examiner the root. So AB is equal to AO plus OB. Part B of this question. P is a point on AB such that AP to PB is 3:1. So that means that the ratio is 3:1. The fraction is 3 over 4 and 1 over 4. Find OP. So we want to go from O to P in terms of A and B. There are two ways to do this. We can go this way, or we can go that way. I go this way because it seems like it's easier. It probably is not in any way easier. It's exactly the same difficulty, but it feels a bit easier. So I'm going to go. So the first thing I'm going to need to write out is I go from O to A. Well, let's start again. We're going to work out OP. Using plus AP. We can then replace this with OA is equal to A and AP is 3/4 AB. Not a coincidence that we have AB already given to us because AB is just here. So in fact, we can just replace AB with negative A plus B. So then that will give you A plus 3/4 of negative A plus B. And then it's just a case of expanding and simplifying. You want to look at that, but this is the full working out expected for every vectors question. Okay, next question. We want to figure out AX. So you've been given a ratio. Pause the video and try both questions, and then I'll show you. Okay, so if you're stuck, I'll show you the first step. And if you're stuck on B, I'm going to show you the first step for that. Complete the rest of it, pause the video. Okay, here's the rest. Here is the answer with the full working out. First thing you should have done for these questions is labeled the fraction. So quarters and 2/5, 3/5. And then you can see, you can work out the order of the questions just by reading the layout from there. If you're stuck on that, you can ask your friends, or you can email me, comment to me. Okay, so the next question is going to be quite tricky, so I'm going to do that in a separate video. I'll see you in the next video.